Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity up right hand corner. We got Mevious, aka Mevious was taken. I think he was saying that his moniker Mevious was taken, or he forgot his password. That's also a possibility. Bottom right hand corner in the midnight blue or navy blue. I think it's actually called navy blue here, but I'm going to call it midnight blue because that's what it looks like to me. That is Neoko. Neoko, I think, finished at the top of the lower. I think he was eliminated in the previous Hasuleauge at the very top of the elimination bracket. So it was like 4 players get eliminated initially out of the Swiss stage. However, of those 4 players, he had the best record. So if things had shifted just a little bit, he would have continued from there. This is going to be on Radeon, larger macro-oriented map. PvP. Good times. We'll see how it turns out. Radeon, I'm trying to think what I prefer Radeon PvP, honestly. Maybe it's just 2-gate robotics. I feel like 1-gate robo on the... I'll be interested to see... I would love to sit down with a DeWalt or a Bonnet or one of these guys that's just a master of PvP and get their opinion on large map PvP in particular. I feel like when you're on such a large spawn like this, like, yeah, you can go 3-gate Dragoon, but you know, there's an extra, like... There's a lot of travel time here. I mean, look how huge this map is. In that area that's got to traverse here, that's a lot of space you got to walk. And so the earlier, like the 2-gate, the 3-gate Dragoon pushes, just feel like they get blunted quite a bit. So I'm almost wondering if like 1-gate robo into support bay, expand, whatnot, is a better play. Mevious, by the way, scouting bottom right hand corner first. Initially it looked like he was gonna, he kind of scooted along mid map just to be sure. And in the meantime, Neoko is going to be checking bottom left. And on his current rotation, likely not going to get first scout. Assimilator has been constructed. Cybernetics core immediately. Let's see if it's going to be Pylon or Zealot. In the meantime, it is 2-gate here from Mevious. So ignore 1-gate into Robo. It looks like we're just going to see straight up 2-gate play. And we do have the Zealot that's constructed in the space of this. Mevious in a good position with this probe. Might even go for a Manor Pylon. We'll see. This surprises me here from Neoko. Sometimes you'll see a defensive Manor Pylon, or a pylon kind of along the edge where it doesn't disrupt your mining pattern, but it prevents your opponent from being able to get Manor Pylons down in this sort of situation. Sometimes the 2-gater will also do that just to play safe. First Zealot is away. Initial Zealot also on the ramp. Dragoon is already queued up. The Mevious exposing the probe briefly. The probe slotting down a little bit early there to kind of check things out, maybe wanting to make a run at the ramp. Zealot already halfway across. The 2 additional Zealots gonna make a run, but it looks like the Assimilator and Cybernetics core after the 3 Zealot have already been constructed. I really feel like this is a half-hearted, like, this has become meta for some reason, but it really does feel like it's a half-hearted version of the 2-gate opener. Dragoon swapping position, the Zealot holding for some reason, and doing a pretty good job blockading and getting initial... Okay, the Zealot now going for some attacks and drawing back, but it's taken a good amount of initial damage. Second Dragoon well on its way, and Mevious not having a good time executing this tube. I think the other aspect of this is because it is such a large map, a little bit harder to now kind of doing a good job of selecting the weakened Zealot out of the grouping, by the way, because once it's and wow, actually might be able to wipe it out right here. Yeah, once you're down to 2 Zealots. Shield battery dropped. Okay. I don't know that he needed the shield battery here. The weakened Zealot walking in. The probes might be able to defend themselves if they have the wherewithal to do so. Grouping up momentarily. Both Zealots on either side clearing. Yeah, that Zealot cleared up by the probes. There is a lot of scattered mining that happened. At the end of this, Mevious... So typically in this build order, you end up 2 or 3 workers ahead because of a lot of factors, and in this instance, Mevious actually ending up just kind of poorly executing it, ending up behind in workers at the end. So now he's down Dragoons. Probe able to get across, and notice that there's no natural expansion. Range is now finished for Neoko, so if he wants to play aggressively, he can. He's going to go actually 1-gate robo with the shield battery along edge. Mevious should be able to take the... Well, has already taken the army supply lead. Is not saving any resources to go for his natural, continuing to just pour out the Dragoons. There's the second gateway plopped on. I was kind of expecting that a little bit earlier from Neoko overall, so theoretically he will be ahead, and we got the robotics dropping, so it looks like things going to equalize here. Neoko also missing a few probes in the overall build. Slightly ahead, he's ahead by 1, but Mevious ahead in supply somehow, mostly because he had, I guess, that second gateway. So you deduct the 100 resources here from the shield battery, and that's maybe the difference. And that probe doing the... Probes really like doing that, doing lewd things to these gateways. I'll tell you what. Could be that this is like, it's their... Maybe they want to be zealots, and then do probes? Is that how like the Protoss life hierarchy works? Probe to zealot and things from there, so then they dream of eventually being spawned from a gateway? I thought they were just little robots constructed, but who knows. Anyway, Mevious now has a probe at the low section. He's got 8 Dragoons here on the front to go for that splash damage. We do have the observatory and support bay. I think that's going to end up skipped here from Mevious, and instead the Nexus is going to get dropped. And as I say that, he drops the observatory. Definitely going to skip the support bay. The probe making its way up got annihilated. I should have clicked on screen for everyone to see that, but anyway. Nexus plop down. So Mevious, despite having a rough opener, is going to end up ahead economically in the follow-up, and also has a little bit of a stronger ground army. Where he might end up behind here now is in Reaver construction, because just starting that support bay. So in the overall build order, though, I think that Neoko might end up in a little bit of trouble, because Mevious will have that expansion up a little bit earlier. As long as he stays on top of his macro. He's currently 3 workers behind. The Observer going across field, doing a good job on its pathing position, kind of drawing across just in case a Dark Templar was out, because this was immediate Observer Reaver. There's no Observer sitting at home, so it would have needed to catch the DT on the way, by the way. And now Neoko going to be able to wander into that natural expansion, get eyes, is able to confirm the Nexus, and the fact that the Nexus is coming down earlier. Another observer out in the field. Where is this probe going? Neoko sending another probe mid-map. By the way, this entire time, range was not complete for Mevious. Range just finishing. Defensive pylon on the front, but it's gonna get away with it. And this is where I do that fist shake Scooby-Doo style. If it wasn't for the kids. Who are the kids in this instance? The probes? Anyway. Defensive pylon dropped at the 6th. The probe in no man's land trying to wander forward is gonna see that Reaver and should know the situation from there. Also going to be able to wander down and note that that Nexus is just finishing as it's saturating. Neoko was able to queue up more probes, however, in his build order over Mevious. An Observer is getting eyefuls both directions here. We have another Observer queued up, so it's going to go straight to 2 Reavers on both ends. We also have the speed upgrade invested in here by Neoko, so might be able to wander down, but that is a complete phalanx here. This looks like a boy band right here, right? Where you got here's the grouping of zealots waiting to do their dance on stage, and here's the main singer, and here's the support dancers up in front. Not sure what the Reaver is. Maybe the Reaver is the spotlight in this instance, but that's definitely a threatening flank, and they definitely look like they're about to drop something hot, right? 2 additional gateways. Speaking of dropping things that are hot, we've got additional gateways plopping down. Reaver starting to scoot out onto the map. Here for Neoko, he's got 1 latent lazy probe, and this probe looks like he is trapped. Looks like he somehow got glitched out, went across. So deduct 2 probes from this count, not that it matters. Second gas getting picked up. It looks like Mevious the second gas a little bit earlier here. I feel like I'm just pointing out stuff along the Protoss base. I'm waiting for Neoko when that speed finishes to see if he is going to go migrating out. The Observer is all right along that corner, so he's going to see the troop movement fairly easily. Observer's actually backed off the mid-map, so he knows there's an assault making its way up. This is great opportunity for Mevious, actually, with the army, depending on positioning. He's got his shuttle coming out. He doesn't have shuttle speed, but knows that army's out on the field. This is odd from Neoko. Where's he going? Positioning mid-map right this second, drawing away. Maybe he's just making sure that the army hasn't... This is really weird troop movement from Neoko to the point where I'm like, is this a broken replay? I don't think so, though. His drawn back, is he just going for a snipe and going to check the 12 o'clock with that army? I think he's hoping to... I think he was hoping that the army was staged a little bit further forward, that he was going to get a better angle. And this is very odd play with the speed shuttle as well. So I wonder if he's trying to draw the troops out. He's at a inferior reinforcement point. The troop size is larger here for Mevious. Mevious has queued up +1. It's not going to be a factor in this map. Starting to scoot forward. This is, yeah, Danger Town. So Neoko going to go ahead and back out. Already has 2 more Reavers out. And look at this. Mevious has grabbed the 12 o'clock. And the Reaver spots it. Now is Neoko... Yeah, Neoko can turn right back around. Mevious is now moving his army forward. The worst possible timing. As Neoko gonna drop, gonna get some probe kills. Speaking of trap probes, we got 1 trap right there, but I think Mevious is gonna get the better part of this engagement here. So is in a overall worker deficit now. Neoko's gonna have to retreat back to his main. He's actually way down in army count. Mevious is sitting at not a great probe count, but if you do the math here, Mevious's army is actually pretty sizable. The Reaver scooting back around, is it just gonna try to power down that Nexus? We'll see 2 Reavers in the slow position. A lot of units scattered all over the place here for Mevious. He's having trouble with unit control. Speaking of trouble with unit control, 2 Dragoons wandering out of position here for Neoko. The Reaver going to go ahead and drop in once again. We have a cannon trying to get built. There's not a lot here to assault, so that's going to get cleared. Mevious coming in piecemeal. 3 Dragoons rapidly going to get cleared out. Shuttle has been cleared. Back at the main, and we got a counterattack of a single Reaver going into Neoko's main, and he really can't draw back, and that is going to be a massive shot. Holy cow. And I don't even know that Neoko's going to recognize it because he's got the assault happening on the front simultaneously. So this is a great attack. I think Mevious might win this on 2 fronts here. So he's wiped everything out. Neoko's got to win this attack on the front and win it big now. The Reaver is not getting the shots, and they're not getting really good splash shots either. He's going to be very disappointed when he looks back at his main. It looks like Neoko is going to be able to win this trade, but on the follow-up, his main is gone. Might end up losing some additional troops at his natural expansion. We got 3 bases up that can mine for Mevious, so Mevious in a very chaotic opener here. I think he's got the match locked. Actually, at this stage, more probes getting assaulted. Neoko down to 14 workers here, which is barely enough to limp off a gateway or 2. That's like a gateway and a half of production, maybe. And you got 2 Nexus versus 3 as far as worker production. So yeah, Neoko's just got to go for the counterattack. He's actually up in workers right this second. We do have the boy band of Dragoons back at the natural expansion to make things happen. Templar Archives plopping down in the space of this. A few DTs mixed in. That, yeah, might be it. We do have 2 Reavers and shuttle speed, potentially. And the other problem for Mevious is he's got a lot of territory he's got to defend. I think he can sacrifice his 12 o'clock and still be in a fine position, though. It's kind of the crux of it here. He just needs to make sure that he defends his natural and his main from any sort of shuttle drop. And the shuttle actually, speaking of shuttles, shuttle scooting its way forward, kind of patrolling here. This was a very odd and brave take from Mevious. Is going to get punished slightly for it here. Still up 37 workers versus 24. The Observer scooting alongside. Neoko's still just got to go, go, go. No shuttle, by the way, and a single Reaver versus 2. But, oh, that shuttle way out in front. Mevious losing control of some Dragoons and not attacking the shuttle in the midst of this. Neoko still might have a hope here. The Dragoons assaulting. The Reavers going into the main. This is a dangerous play. Taking some shots from the high ground. They're going to back off with his Reavers now. Really the wrong time. Just very odd troop movement from both players. That Reaver is going to get picked off. So Mevious now at a Neoko at a 2 Reaver advantage. Just needs to micro him across the front. Neoko's Dragoon, 4 Dragoon count is dwindling. We do have the Gateway and some High Templar making their way out. Do we have Psystorm? I don't know that we have Psystorm. upgraded. We do have +1 weapons, though. These High Templar might want to gonna morph to Archon immediately. Provide additional buffering against the two Reavers. And Neoko, sitting back, he's actually been able to fill up his worker count pretty significantly in the midst of this. He is positioning to grab a third. Archon takes several free pot shots and just pops. Mevious now back on the map, took some big splash hits. Gonna walk out with the rest of his army. Does he have no Zealot legs, but able to clear out the forward army of Neoko. Gonna check this is a wild one. At the end of this, though, Neoko is within striking distance of workers. He took out that 12 o'clock Nexus. He filled in a lot of gateways. He honestly might be able to take out that third, but instead diving into the main. Doesn't look like he got a lot of probes and, well, okay, drops the Reaver and a couple dud shots. This is crazy, both directions. We have two Dark Templar on the low ground in the meantime. Third base getting grabbed from Neoko. If Neoko can actually get this third base up and running, I think he will win. He's way behind in tech. He's behind in upgrades. But in not too long, the main is going to be mined out here from Mevious. He's wandering out to go ahead and grab his third, but this is going to come out a lot later. In comparison, supply counts are about even. Big tech lead actually for Mevious. If he can get the Psystorm in play, that could be huge. Also, once Zealot leg speed is there, that could also be significant. The single observer spots the Dark Templar in that army making its way, and I think Mevious saw the shadow of that observer, so recognized that he was going to have to back out. More Weavers now making their way out for Neoko. Let's see. He is able to pick off that forward observer finally. Cannon also plopping down. So this Nexus is going to be half a Nexus construction away. Wish I knew what the construction build time was off the top of my head. You're cheating if you're in YouTube comment land, by the way. You didn't know that off the top of your head. Don't pretend you did. +1 weapons just queued up here for Neoko. Down on supply, but up economically, and he is running. I mean, when this finishes, he's going to have 7 gateways, right? How many gateways are we looking at the opposite side? 6? He'll be a gateway up. He'll be High Templar. A lot of High Templar tech down will be the other aspect of this. He's got shuttle speed, which is something to potentially work with. He's also not going to have Zealot leg speed. That'll be another big factor here. But we don't have a lot of High Templar, nor do we have Psystorm, which would really be the big thing that would be giving Mevious a huge advantage here. He is queuing some High Templar up, but I still don't think I saw a High Templar Psystorm queued in the midst of this. Neoko moving up to see whether that third is built or not, recognizing that it is in fact not in play. A probe wandering out into no man's land here for Neoko. Dark Templar providing some scouting information, sees that army moving out of position. This probe bottom left, what is going on with these two and their troops all over the place? Mevious slotting in behind this army, looks like he's going to catch it by surprise. Probe able to confirm that that 12 o'clock is in fact up. And Dark Templar are going to get some free shots on the Dragoons. Are they going to be able to get on top of the Reavers is the next question. The Reavers scooping up, and it looks like Neoko wanting to go for a full retreat. Kind of curious what that probe's up to. Zealot trailing gets wiped out. Where's the Observer? Observer is on the other side of the map. I think Neoko is having trouble finding it as well. Another Observer out, able to clear that Dark Templar at the very least. This Observer sees the additional base, so I don't know. Here's the thing, Neoko has eyes. I don't know why he decided to push that probe up as well. Anyway, third's up and running. He has a couple probes. He's actually 3 workers ahead. +1 weapons is about to finish for him. He's just now somewhere here getting the Citadel of Adun. Mevious looking to absorb these attacks. I don't see the High Templar here. Looks like they're mostly morphed into Archons. They're charging and encapsulating a good portion of Neoko's army. The Reaver a little bit further behind. And you can see where Zealots right on top of Dragoons make short work of them. They're just very high DPS units. And does the shuttle get wiped out? Shuttle takes a lot of hits, but looks like it is able to scoop out. Neoko losing that engagement handily. And now in full retreat back to his natural expansion. Let's see if he's able to hold his third. Or his natural. Mevious going for it. Mevious trailing his entire army all the way in. 2 more Reavers joining the fray, so this will be 4 Reavers versus mostly Dragoons here. Shuttle needs to unload. 1 Reaver goes down with the shuttle. The additional 2 Reavers don't have a lot of cover, so they're getting wiped out. That should be GG. Mevious now pressing in for the kill. Has an overwhelming attack force. Looks like he's going to reposition as a Reavers. Making its way back out. The shuttle dying before it's able to join any sort of... before it's able to provide any sort of help. There's GG from Neoko. A lingering GG from Mevious. We will go on to game 2. Mevious up a match. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.